All right.
It's recording.
Yes. Good night, everyone. Welcome to the first Transportation and Public Safety meeting of 2025. I'm happy for all of those who are in attendance. Before we start, I would just like everybody to introduce themselves.
Marjorie Silcott.
Hazel Martinez.
George Page, committee member.
Adele Bennett, committee member.
Audrey Henderson, committee member.
Monica McCain Brown, committee member.
Leonie Logan, committee member.
Okay. I believe that's everyone so far.
Detective Skinner, community affairs.
All right. Did everybody receive a copy of the agenda for tonight?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So going in, just the chair's report. So this is dealing with public safety, and I do want to give a report on what's been happening currently, especially when it comes into the fact of the ICE agents and all these different things. And I want folks to really pay attention to what's going on and really keep the folks aware of what their rights are in terms of these ICE raids and all these different things, right? I think that is very important, especially to our community, which is a large migrant community. Even though maybe first, second generation, we still have folks that are coming here. We still have folks that have not gotten their status fixed in terms of residency or citizenship, and it's just going to get more difficult and harder. But what I wanted to say in particular is that there are specific rights that you have. If an ICE agent comes to your household or to anyone and demands, or they say they have a warrant, number one, the warrant, in order for them to get access to your premise, the warrant has to be a judicial warrant, written or signed by a judge. Right now, Homeland Security and the ICE agents are making up warrants from that federal government agency and from the ICE people themselves in terms of supervisor and whatever. Those are not warrants that you have to adhere to. So they come to your door, you don't have to answer. You could ask them, in particularly show them the warrant so you could read it, or slip it under the door. Okay? If you happen to be caught in the street and they question you, as anyone should know, you should have some form of ID on you. At minimal, the receipts from your immigration status so that you can be helped. Okay? If you get caught in the street, you should carry a copy of your passport. There have been stories of them picking up citizens that look as though they are migrants, that look quote unquote ethnic. Okay, so I want us to be very mindful of that. Don't think because you're a citizen, you can't get picked up. You can get picked up. But in the case of that happening, you should have a minimum of 2 forms of ID. A copy of your passport, or if you have a passport card and your license, or some other form of ID, whether it's, something with your picture on it. I want us to be very clear about that, because there's a lot of stuff that is happening now, and a lot of people are scared. A lot of people don't know how to really deal with the situation correctly. And these people will bully you, try to put you in a corner. And the main thing that you should do is do not speak or answer. Do not incriminate yourself. Okay? Unless you have access to an immigration lawyer. The only thing you ask for is access to an immigration lawyer. That's it. You don't have to give them any information. You don't have to tell them anything. This is what you need. Right? There's a lot of things that are not being done in the correct manner. And that has been something that has been, weighing on my mind, especially with what could possibly be happening and going on, especially with the fact that the mayor has rolled back a lot of the protections and so forth in certain aspects. And New York is supposed to be a sanctuary city, but according to what Trump is doing with his executive things, sanctuary cities, churches, none of these places seem to be safe unless there's a lawsuit that could block and stop these wrongful executive orders that Trump is bringing. So I want us to be very mindful of that. Mr. Tate, I see your hands up.
Yes. Because I have a question. Okay, and basically, you mentioned that ICE agents are making up their own warrants and all that.
Yeah.
So my question is there a way that an immigrant would be able to tell the difference between a real warrant from a judge and a fake warrant from ICE or Homeland Security? Because personally, I don't know if I could, to look into a people or even if they're slipping under the door. How do I know that it wasn't a real judge that signed it?
So you will see the person that signed it. It officially has to be signed by a judge. And what maybe needs to be done is that Detective Skinner is here, and maybe what I'll do, I'll make contact with him or through the board office to get what an official warrant looks like and provide that as a reference. And you should be able to see the judge's name, the judge's title, and everything in plain English. Now, if you cannot read English, that might be a little challenging, right? But again, they cannot impose their will on you in your home. They cannot force you to open the door, right? And this is something that's important. If you see them at the door, you hear them at the door, if you have folks that English is not their first language, hopefully they have people that live with them that do understand English, that can read a warrant or be able to, or be able to speak to the folks or whatever the case may be in their stead, or ask the correct questions, then that is something that should be discussed. That is something that should be looked at. But in particular, a judicial warrant will have the actual judge, the title, and the signature of the judge. You see, Homeland Security cannot falsify a judicial warrant. If they do that, that's against the law, and they could put themselves into trouble. So that is what you're going to look for in particular. I see Miss Adele Bennett's hand is up.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to add a little thing because personally, I came in here as a refugee from Cuba in 1967. Yes, I came by airplane and everything, but it's still a refugee. And I don't know if the laws have passed, a change, but I had to wait a couple of years before I could get my green card because they don't give you your green card right away. So I'm glad you mentioned that people should be walking with their
Yeah,
any receipts that they have.
anything.
Because at the time I was used to walk around without anything until it was the time that they called me up to get my green card. But it's not something that they give you right away. And yes, there are a lot of criminals, but not every one of them are criminals. And there are some that are there just waiting for the papers. So they may be caught up in this situation too, that they are waiting for the papers, but they don't have it to show it to them right away.
Right. Ms. Bennett?
Yes, my main concern is the area right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you, Ms. Bennett.
Okay, good. Because over here where I am, it's turning into a truck stop. There's nothing but trucks left and right. Now they have the big tractor trailers, and the precinct is not doing anything about it. They sit there morning, noon, and night. They don't move. From Kings Highway, from Clarendon Road, all the way down to Beverly. From the trucks and buses. That's a transportation question. What can we get done on this committee to get those trucks out of here?
All right, Ms. Bennett. Well, we'll get back. We'll get back to that. But my main concern is like what I stated before, with the public safety in terms of you know, what's happening with these immigration issues. Just be very mindful, protect yourself, walk with your two forms of ID to cover yourself, and make sure you tell the folks, do not give out any information. If somebody approaches them, ask them a question, tell them that you want an immigration lawyer. If you cannot provide the documents or show them whether it's an advance parole receipt, whatever it is, if you cannot show them that, and in particular, those receipts and those documents would not stop you in terms of the receipts and so forth. If you don't have an actual ID, might not stop you from being arrested, but it will allow you to get access to an immigration lawyer who could help stop any possible deportation, etc., etc. So it's important, whatever information that you have that could identify who you are, who's your family member, etc., please have it on your person. Okay, anything is possible, and anything could happen in this type of climate where we are right now currently. Another public safety thing is, yes, Letitia James and several of the Democratic defense, state defense attorneys have set a lawsuit in place to stop the executive order about freezing the federal funding, in particular Medicaid, Medicare, all of the college funding, Pell, TAP, all these different things. The lawsuit has been put into place, but just know, while it's been wrangled, there is a freeze on these things. So however you need to protect yourself, in particular with the folks that do get Medicaid and Medicare and all these different things, and have other benefits. There's a possibility, we've been hearing about SNAP and all these other things. There's several things that could be happening and going on. Prepare yourself for anything to happen. Okay, I want us to be very clear and very intentional about what we're doing now. We have to be very, very strategic in this time. I see
Hey, Mr.
another
Andre.
I see another hand, Miss two hands. I see Marjorie Silcott, and then I see Miss Kim Mormon.
Right, yes, thank you, Mr. Lewis. You did mention that you asked for immigration lawyer. Who provides this lawyer and who would pay for the lawyer?
So the immigration lawyer, if you are rounded up, possibly by or detained by ICE and put in a situation there, once you request the lawyer is federally funded. It's something that has to be provided by immigration. Right? You have to get that. So now, if you decide to go and get your own lawyer privately, that's something different. You may have to pay for that. But if you're in a situation in which you have been rounded up, and it's in particular people who have been rounded up to potentially go into deportation, there are specific ways and there's a specific way that it has to be done.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Miss Kim Mormon.
Yes, good night, everybody. I wanted to just, I know a little bit of information, but this is not really like my area, but I'm a federal employee and I work with the State Department. It's not INS, it's not Homeland Security. But one thing is that Chair Lewis, he did tell you the right thing, is that it's very good to get a lawyer, you know, to ask for a lawyer and, you know, to carry identification on yourself. So if, for example, if you are a U.S. citizen, they have the and they have the passport card. Those are examples of things that would show you're a U.S. citizen. So the passport card looks like a driver's license. I just wanted to tell everybody that is that, you know, it's very easy to carry in your person. And it's like the size of a driver's license. The passport book is a little bit bigger, but either one, they're proof of U.S. citizenship. If you have a permanent resident card and you're not a U.S. citizen, of course, but if you have a permanent resident card, that's also the size of a driver's license. It's good to carry these things, some kind of identification that shows your status. And you know, they actually went into the Bronx today. I heard that the agents actually went into the Bronx. And then the other issue about I forgot what was the other issue. You had mentioned something. Oh, about the freeze. I heard that a federal judge put a stay on President Trump's executive order. So for now, temporarily, it stayed. So the funding should be okay now, temporarily. But like Chair Lewis said, the AG, Letitia James, she is on this matter. She is very strong on this and she's determined. And also the AGs from other states, especially the Democratic ones, they're also working on this lawsuit. Thank you.
All right, so that's a confirmation of what I told you from someone that is working with the federal government based on the information. So if there aren't any other questions, I would like to give the floor over to Detective Skinner.
Good night, Mr. Lewis. Good night, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we could hear you.
Yeah, we could hear you.
Okay. Just as you said, you know, we don't at the NYPD we don't work with any of those agencies as far as like immigration or ICE, however the case is. But Just to confirm like what you're saying with a search warrant would have the judge's name on it, but it would say what jurisdiction the judge would be from, whether it's a local jurisdiction, whether it's like a local municipality, like for example, the DA's office, or it would be, let's say, from like let's say it would say Kings County, Honorable Judge Smith from Kings County, um, uh, DA's office, or it may be from, let's say, the Supreme Court. But remember, federally, they also have federal judges as well. So I know they also have federal subpoenas as well. I did hear them in the Bronx today. From my understanding, from what I gathered from that, and from what I'm hearing from that, was that the people that they did get from the Bronx, apparently a few of them was wanted in that connection in Colorado when they took over some apartment building, that gang that from Venezuela, that Trena Aguaria. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But from what I'm hearing, they're going after, I guess, the violent offenders that's been committing like a lot of felonies and stuff like that. This is from what I'm hearing, and this is from my understanding of what's taking place. But you are right about walking with ID, or any little proof of safety. That you're absolutely right about that. Again, we don't get involved with immigration, and you're right. New York is a sanctuary city from under Governor Patterson. I believe he had implemented that under his regime. However, there's also federal laws and stuff like that's out of our hands. That's the reason why we don't get involved with that. Just as a recap, just as a brief report, as far as a recap from last year, as far as the crime stats, we're actually downing shootings. Unfortunately, we did take 2 people shot earlier today. We had 1 homicide. I actually just came back from about a half hour to hour prior to the meeting at 60 East 93rd Street, where the 15-year-old boy, unfortunately, he had gotten shot and killed, and a 16-year-old boy who had gotten shot as well too. So that's being under investigation right now. Robberies went down. Felony assaults is up. Just earlier today, we took a stab, and somebody got into argument and got stabbed in the hand. So I don't know what the deal is with the felony assault so far. That's been going up, but as far as the crime stats, as far as burglaries, that had went down tremendous amount as well. As far as stolen vehicles has went down. Remember, that was a hot topic throughout the past how many years? And also 2 grand larcenies has went down, but petty larcenies has been slightly up because a lot of people has been reporting package thefts more and more now. That seems like it's for the past, I would say for the past several months, that we've been getting more and more about package thefts, more than usual. As far as for the amount of firearms that we recovered off the street from last year we took 146 firearms off the street, which was year to date. This year, we took 3 firearms off the street for the month of, we actually took 6 firearms off the street from year to date for this month alone. I know abandoned vehicles is a big topic in our community. Last year total, we towed 302 vehicles. That included large box trucks, buses, that included help from the sanitation, which also remove some of these items, some of these abandoned vehicles. That also include various cars, mopeds, and also passenger vans. So, I mean, 302 vehicles may not sound like a lot, but that's a lot of cars that's being towed throughout the year. As far as crime prevention tips for like burglary wise, make sure like your windows and your doors are locked. These are common little things, but these are things that you have a lot of burglars and people who have a crime of opportunity, especially with vehicles. They would walk by and just tug on the door handle just to make sure, or just to see if it's open and it's a crime of opportunity. So like, just try to make sure you secure your belongings. I don't have anything. As far as traffic enforcement, I remember I was on this meeting a few months back, and one of the ladies on here wanted enforcement done on Clarendon Road. Highway safety actually has done in that area, as far as I know, for speeding and people disobeying pavement markings. I know Clarendon Road was one, and also Linden Boulevard was one. Another one that was brought up to our attention was by the hospitals by King County and Downstate. A lot of those cars have been double parked, a lot of illegal taxis, and for the past several weeks we've been moving them along, issuing summonses. That's all I have right now. If you have any questions, I'll take one or two questions before you move on to the other topics of your meeting.
Yeah, we could take questions. I see Ms. Hazel Martinez hand up.
Yes,
Ms.
good
Bennett
evening.
and-
Hazel Shields. Good evening, Detective Skinner. There still remain several problems over in the Avenue D, Clarendon Road, East 56, 58th Street area. First of all, I don't know what, there's been several complaints about these large commuter bus. There's one parked right at East 58th and Avenue D outside of the school. It's been there for months and it makes a very dangerous situation when you come up East 58th and you have to make a right onto Avenue D because you cannot see the traffic that's coming in the opposite direction on the curve. And apparently it's somebody in the neighborhood because these buses are all, they say Great Wolf or something on them. And some of them are on Beverly Road, all over the place.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. The NCOs, when they're doing their tow op, the problem is when they do their tow operations, not everybody has a heavy tow available at that time. So that's the reason why a lot of times those heavier buses and trucks take a while to tow.
But we also
we're
have,
well of it.
go ahead.
No, I say we're very well aware of it though.
Okay, because we also have all these, we are like a parking lot for trucks. We don't have any stores, but we have parking lot for tractor trailers. And when you call the file 311 complaints, their precinct says that they come and they took measures to correct the situation. But I don't know what it is because I don't see a summons issued or anything.
You don't see something issued on like the
No,
on
all
the
on
city
Kings
code?
Highway, Clarendon Road, on the green space. And I mean, they don't stay there just one night. It's like for a week.
And this is Kings Highway and Beverly, right?
Kings Highway facing Clarendon facing Kings Highway. There's one, he's probably there right now on Kings Highway and Clarendon Road on the other side, on the west side of Kings Highway.
Okay. That's where the guy used to be selling the cars, right? There was a gentleman who used to be
On
selling
that
cars
side, on the
over there.
green space, yeah, there's a car
Yeah.
right there now for sale. But on the other side,
Okay.
next to a house on Kings Highway there. That's a
I
regular
know there was a
parking
gentleman
area.
over there who used to have on Clarendon. He used to. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Miss Adele Bennett.
Yes, I'm just going to reiterate the same thing that between myself, which is when right up at Snyder, going towards Beverly and Clarendon, it's turning to a tractor trailer stop. They've been there for weeks. Because I've taken pictures of them. They don't move. I want to know what they can do for that overnight storage area. The Skinner.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I said for overnight storage from 9 to 5 a.m. They can't be there, and it's I think a 3-hour limit. That's it. They don't do those trucks. Why can't this precinct write those summonses?
Well, here's the thing. When we do 311 calls, right, and it says like when it says like crime corrected and stuff like that, that's why I would have to look at the location and see if summons was issued, because I know sometimes when you issue the summons in some of these trucks, sometimes the officers put it in the door, sometimes the officers put it on top. So that's why I want to see if summons was issued. A lot of times, if we do get a 311 call for overnight parking, usually we do issue a summons for that.
And because during the day when I get out and I take pictures and I walk around it, I don't see it. And I do check.
I think traffic needs to help us out.
Well, that's very, they'd have to call and ask them. Rather call and order them to do it.
Because I mean,
Maybe.
a lot of people have been, for the past few months, a lot of people have been asking how come they don't see traffic in the confines of the 6-7. So I always tell them that, we don't, that I know they have their own deployment, but I think that's something that we'd have to go over there and discuss. Ken.
We have to talk to the inspector to have them ordered to do it. The truth is, change management over there. The new manager doesn't really seem to be interested in us. Elsewhere, yes, us, and I'm letting all the members know, yes, the new manager, and she doesn't care about us. She'll send them elsewhere, but not here. As for the meeting, we need to get together and send her a letter. Rather, we send Tish a letter and let her know what we need. And we're not getting from the new management. Thank you.
All right, Mr. George Tate, and then Miss Monica McQueen Brown after.
Okay. Good evening again, Detective Skinner. Yeah, a couple of things here. One, the right on 42nd Street between between Farragut and Glenwood. I've been complaining about this for the longest. There's a couple of trucks that have been sitting there. I would say one of them is probably years, but there's about 2 or 3 of them that sit right there, closer to Farragut, and there are a couple of them farther out. So when you go into Pathmark over there, they can't clean the street over there. You see all the garbage under there. It's really filthy, and there's people hanging out, some guys hanging out by those trucks, which if you're coming in the dark, it's a dangerous situation, especially for a female that's walking by themselves or elderly coming from Pathmark in the dark. So I don't know if it's something that could be done about those trucks, especially they are on the going from Farragut to Glenwood. They are on the right side, right by the building that houses, that little strip, that shopping strip. Okay. I also have two or three cars on my block. I did send it to sanitation without license plates. Now they don't move. They've been sitting there like for over a month now, and nothing has been done. They don't move, so the street can't be clean. So those are my 2 complaints regarding parking. Okay, my question.
As far as that, you said you called sanitation.
Well, I gave it. We sent the email to Miss Lyons, who sent it to Miss of sanitation. Guys, we spoke about it in the sanitation meeting. So they say she asked us to send.
The sanitation is just as responsible. Sanitation now, under the last commissioner, is just as responsible for towing these cars as well. Just to let you guys know, they have been very aggressively towing because for the past week, I will say people have been calling the office to find their cars. And when I do look in the tow log, one day, like for prime example, was Friday, they towed 27 cars in the 6-7 alone. When it was Tuesday, they towed 15 cars. So I don't know how often they are, but I will say they are very aggressive in the 6-7. That's why I asked if you had called sanitation for that, because some of these issues that people are complaining about as far as like street cleaning and cars and not. A lot of that new unit that they opened up. I mean, they
Yeah.
started. It's an interagency unit with sanitation and PD, and they both go out there and they tow because it's to try to alleviate some of the tow responsibilities to the precincts. So it's a citywide unit.
Okay. Thank you.
And you said that's on your block, Mr. Tate?
Yes. East
You said those
43rd.
two cars on your block?
East 43rd between Foster and Fargo. It's a gray Charger and the west side, and this maroon Nissan and the east side of the road. And I believe the maroon car, if I remember correctly, is parked near 717 East 43rd, and the gray might be somewhere like around 728. Okay, and I understand the situation with the towing the trucks because, yeah, it's short-handed. But again, I've been complaining about that truck over there, and right now it's really ridiculous at that corner over there. And, so if there's something could be done about that, because it's really it's scary at night over here. It's scary at night and filthy. But no, my question is regarding the break-in. I don't know if it was home invasion or what it was that happened at I believe it was 3512 Glenwood, Farragut Road. Yeah, this week that they, obviously the weekend, that they, I saw it at Citizen App, that they were trying to break in some apartments, and they also showed the cops going into the buildings. I was wondering if you have any information on that.
What day was that? I'm sorry.
I don't. It might have been Saturday, but I know it was the last couple of days. I would have to look it up, and but definitely they showed that they were the cops were going in there. First, they showed the guys running around and trying to open some doors. Then they showed two police officers that went in there and were walking up the stairs. So it's kind of close to home. So I'm just want to make sure that it's not a pattern that's happening now that they're trying to, break into apartments.
No, I didn't. I don't see a confirmation on that. That it was a home invasion. To be honest, I'm looking at the updates for
Well,
the
I
what do you
use the
call it?
term. No, I use the term home invasions. I don't know that it was a home invasion for fact. I don't know if the apartments that they were trying to break in, was there anyone in there or what? But they showed that they were trying to open one door, then they ran upstairs. But I could see what was happening when they ran up the stairs. But I guess this is one of the new apartment buildings over there at 35, specifically 3512 Farragut Road.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably came over that way because sometimes citizens would read it out as far as what it came over because apparently like it offered a 911 call, but a lot of times they don't update to say what actually the outcome was.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I have two questions. One, Detective Skinner, in terms, what's the policy on ticketing or not ticketing cars with government permits, specifically law enforcement permits, who do not move their cars? And
The permit has certain stipulations that you're supposed to that you're supposed to park. Like, well, there's certain exemptions that you're supposed to use the permits for. You have to give me an example as far as like what the car is doing or where the car is at.
The car is at home. And thanks you. The car is at home, residential, not moved on days when alternate side is being swept.
Yeah, so pretty much on the back of it, I can't remember all the exemptions that's on it. I know meters, I know no standings. I believe alternate sides is one of them, but that's something that usually it's supposed to be around a court area for like work purposes, or it's supposed to be like, for example, like a precinct,
This is at home.
mainly work purposes.
This is at home. So sanitation or police, for instance, if they're ticketing, supposed to excuse that car, this is at home. I'm off duty. I'm at home. And
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Is there a policy that while you at your residence and off duty, are you allowed to leave your car parked without moving it? So the side of the street doesn't get completely swept because that particular person has their car there and doesn't move.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I gave you some of the examples, but I mean, you're still supposed to be in the guidelines of it. You're still supposed to move the vehicle.
Okay. Okay. And is
I
there
mean, any vehicle
discretionary?
park,
Is there any
any
discretionary
vehicle park.
protocol
What's that?
by? Is there any discretionary protocol, for instance, by the sanitation or the police enforcer who is looking? Is
That's
there?
on the individual if they
Oh,
choose to
okay.
show discretion.
Oh, so it can be discretionary. Okay. So I guess that answers. The other one is tickets still being given for parking in someone's driveway. I remember years ago, I almost got a ticket for parking in my own driveway, unloading groceries. Do they ticket people still for parking in someone's driveway? So that if I want to get out, I can't?
Yes. It's called a obstructed driveway.
Obstructive driveway. So they still give tickets for that.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I were to call it in, someone would come?
You call 311, you call us the precinct, and it's a 311 job, or you call the precinct, yes, somebody would come.
Okay.
I can't give you an exact response, but somebody would come.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's what I said.
All right, I see Ms. Hazel Martinez.
Yes, one more thing, Detective Skinner. On the East 56th Street side of my house by that garage, there has been a vehicle there for the last 2 months. It's a Honda Accord. It has a Pennsylvania plate, but it has a Massachusetts sticker in the front of the window. It obviously was moved from somewhere because it has erasure of, the mark, the kind of crayon they used to mark when a car is for sale or something. And it has a lot of leaves in the window, like it had been by the park or something. And it obviously was moved here, but no one ever looks at it. It's just sitting there. And I would like you all to look at it, please. I can send you the photos if I have your contact info.
Where's the street?
East 56 in Clarendon.
And you said it's just describe the what do you call it again? East
It's a
56 in
Honda
Clarendon.
Accord. It's an odd color. It's like a light greenish, grayish thing.
And you said it has Pennsylvania plates?
It has a Pennsylvania plate, MBP 4994.
Okay. You said it's been there for 2 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So continuing from that, we want to thank Detective Skinner for taking out the time and coming and giving us a report and taking down the concerns. Next item of business, I believe I see there's a co-naming. I'm not too sure if that person is on for that co-naming. If not, Mr. Tate, I see your hand up. Okay, maybe not. All right. If that co-naming is not here, then there was supposed to be application for TLC. Flamingo Trans I and O Lemo Services. It's on the agenda, but I am not seeing anyone here that is representing that limousine service. So it would have to be forgone until the next time if the person chooses to attend, so that it could be brought up at the general meeting. So Miss Lyons, do we have
No,
quorum?
I sent the information to the taxi and limousine people for that business Flamingo, but I don't know what happened to them. They had the agenda and the link.
Okay. All right. Well, they will have to just come back next month at our meeting before it could go to the general board. Because
Okay, I'll send them
the
an
committee,
email to that effect.
yeah, the committee has to be able to the committee has to be able to give the board their recommendation based on votes from the committee in order for the entire board to have an understanding as to how the committee voted on it. Mr. Tate, you were saying something? Miss Lyons, do we have quorum? And if we do, did everybody get the minutes from October?
Everybody should have received the minutes, but you do not have quorum yet.
Don't have quorum. Okay, so I'm not going to belabor that. Next time we'll have quorum. We do have. Let me see what's on the agenda. Okay, so we do have any new business? Anything, anybody? Well, I have new business. To all the members that are on this, okay, hold on. I see Miss Marjorie Silcott.
Yes, I just wanted to know, what is the quorum? What number is the quorum?
Miss Lyons. Miss Lyons, how much? What was the number for us to reach quorum to vote? All right, Mr. Scott will try to.
Yeah, and then the follow up is that with that is how could you adjust a quorum? Because I'm just here, I'm saying you cannot go on and on and on, meeting after meeting, and if you don't get a quorum, could a quorum be adjusted? What's the procedure? What's the process? I don't know. Because maybe we need to adjust the quorum. Because the business has to go on. And you get where I'm going, right?
Yeah, I got you. I got
Mhm.
you.
They
Yes.
take off people who don't show up.
Hello?
I said they take off people who don't show up to the meetings.
It's the thing.
So,
The business has to go on, you know.
well,
It's not hold up if every time you come there is no quorum. It holds it up.
I'll have to sit down. I will sit down or make that recommendation to look at the rostrum and look at the members who have been on and go through and see who has been consistent and who has not been consistent and how to get those folks removed.
Very good. Mhm.
And then to try to get back to where we need to get back.
Thanks, Lois. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think you have
Thank
to
you.
miss 3 meetings or something like that.
Right. So we just have to go over that and make sure that is what it is, and then they'll have to reset to get the quorum with the members who have been attending.
Just remove the people who don't show up.
Religiously.
Yes. So just to remove the people who don't.
You can't just remove people like that. You
Right.
have to, there's a process.
There's a process. A letter has to be sent out from either the second vice chair or whoever it is, giving them a warning, telling them what's happening, and then that is so there is a process.
Never have quorum.
So any other new business from anyone else? All right. So well, I have a bit of new business. So folks on this committee will be privy to this first, but effective tomorrow, I will be resigning from the board and from the position as chair. I've had several conflict schedules, and with that schedule, I would not be in attendance for any of the Wednesday meetings or the general meeting or the meeting. That's why tonight's meeting was actually put this night so that I could do it, because I have classes and some certifications that I must do for my job. And two, also, there has been some situations on the board that doesn't really lend to the effectiveness of the board. That's just me as general. There's been several different things has happened. Several letters have went out with threats of litigation from a lawyer, etc. So it's a very challenging time, and I have made several motions at several of the general meetings, and nothing has been done. So with everything else and all that's going on, I just felt it was in my best interest to step away. So you guys are the first to hear this. The letter will be submitted tomorrow, and hopefully they find an interim or someone else to take up the position and to continue what's been going on here. I you know, depending on scheduling and the permits, I might be able to come and pop up as a community member listening in. But you know, this is something that I have to do at this time, and hopefully we get somebody who will, you know, continue doing what needs to be done, providing the information for both of this blended committee of transportation and public safety. Right. Any old business? If not,
Mr. Lewis, may I say something?
yes, yes.
Sorry to see you leave, but
Yeah,
we have to consider our best interests. So
of
all
course.
the best, and as you said, I hope we see you popping up when you have the chance to pop up at the meetings. All the best.
I'll do my best. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Tate?
Yes, that's basically what I was going to say. You know, like wish you the best on whatever your new endeavor is, but don't forget, basically, you are in the community, so we do have to fight for our community. Like me, I did not reapply as a member of the board, but I'm still around because the more people we have fighting for the community, the best. You've been fighting for the community, and I would like to see you continue your fight, whether it is as a board member or a community member. Okay.
Yes.
So don't disappear because we do need, and it's a lot of stuff happening and a lot more stuff coming through the community. So please do not disappear. We need all of us working together. Again, best wishes on your new endeavor.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I don't want the folks to be worried about certain things. Before I leave, I will still be in conference with the district manager, with the chair, with the request, and making sure, you know, hopefully the transition is smooth and that is effective, so that we could get to the quorum. Look back at in particular, look back at the attendance and see who has been consistently here and following the rules and the guidelines based on that, so to make sure that the Transportation and Public Safety Committee has quorum to vote. Ms. Bennett, whoever the replacement will be, the chair will be the one to designate that replacement. I am not, I don't believe I am authorized to make that decision. The chair has to make that decision. So, you know, I think we will have to wait on the chair, see maybe who the chair sees, or he would ask or request to see who will be willing to chair Transportation and Public Safety. And you know, I'll just try to help in the transition as best as I can. All right. So the time is 8:39. If we don't have anything else, I want someone to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for tonight.
Ms. Monica McCain Brown. You're the one asking about the block driveway.
What was that, Ms. Bennett?
You're the one asking about block driveways.
Yes, I was.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a number. So you can call it from 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Ready?
Okay.
718 345
Uh-huh.
1800.
Okay,
They will come quicker than the precinct.
okay, thank you.
The only way you can write a block driveway is by complaint of the owner. You just can't walk up and do it.
Okay.
Adele,
Yes.
does that number work for someone if someone is over parked next to your car and you waited 10 minutes blowing your
Yes.
horn?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll get the number from Arthur. Can you repeat the number?
718 345 1800.
345
1800.
1800. Thank you.
Saying something about the truck?
I just put it in the chat if anybody wants to see. And,
Okay.
and that's what that's for
That's the
what
NYPD traffic.
NYPD traffic. NY
Yes.
traffic. Okay, very good.
Yes.
And the
Sometimes
time you said
the
is between 6 and
6 a.m. to around 5:30 p.m.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. to 5:30.
Yes. After that, you can try to get the precinct, but they're not that responsive. You've already found that out.
All right, good. If anybody, I'm not going to close down the chat after or close down the meeting after. I want, if anybody looks in the chat, they could see the number there and the time. When is the best time to call to get that? All right. So, was someone making a motion?
Move to adjourn the meeting.
Miss
Like that,
Marjorie
Charles
Sitka.
Street.
Okay, good. Miss Lyons, please add that number, 718-345-1800. NYPD traffic, 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Add that in the minutes, please. Well, all right, everyone. Thanks again. Thank you very much. And enjoy the rest of the evening. And take care of yourself and your family members, especially in all of this trying time with all of this stuff that's been coming down from the executive branch of the government. All right? Everyone have a good night.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, and all the best.
Good
to you,
night.
Mr. Lewis.
Good night. Good
Thank
luck.
you. Good night,
Be
everyone.
safe. Be safe. Stay blessed.